Hello, my soul family. Today, I have to talk to you again about fear and safety because that is what I've woken up on my heart and mind with. So, the real question is how can we feel safe in the presence of torture? What do I mean? How can we feel safe in the presence of torture? Well, what I mean is, how do we, the ones who are aware, the ones who are awake, actually feel actually feel and know that we are safe in these bodies, safe in this environment, safe on this planet, and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and most importantly physically safe. How can we possibly feel that we are safe in the presence of people being tortured? It's a question. It's also a question, how do we feel safe when so much of the history of our world has been torture, has been literal waking nightmares? And of course, although time is an illusion and we're living in a collective co-created reality, just going by the standard the standard reality that we all live in today, still today, little children are being tortured and traumatized to the point where their psyche is completely broken. And how on earth, how in the world, Lord, can we feel safe when we're living with the presence of torture, the presence of insanity, the presence of such deep trauma? Truthfully, it will never ever go away. There is a return to wholeness, of course, as the great spirit of God can heal anything, but such deep trauma that it shatters the whole psyche. How can we possibly feel safe in the presence of all that? Well, I'm about to tell you, and I'm taking this video slowly for a reason, because what I'm saying is one thing, the words that come out of my mouth is one thing, but I want to give you a chance to feel it and process it, because it's very highly important that you do slowly take it in. How can we feel safe? Now, I have an answer for you, which is the same answer I've given, but slightly different. And I'm just going to let it flow. I'm not going to think about it too much, because this is coming deep from the spirit here when I speak to you, okay? The only way we can know we're safe and feel safe is when we have the realization that we are in control of the reality we are in. In fact, this reality we are in is a co-creation between us and the Spirit of God. And our imagination is sacred. This world is a sacred co-creation between our imagination and the great Spirit of God. And with the knowledge, not with the belief, with the knowledge that God is in control and you are in control of this world now, and that you are creating this very world that you live in with your own imagination. We are dreaming together this world. With that knowledge, that is what brings you safety, because you know you're safe. You don't think you're safe. You know you're safe. And my lovely, lovely soul family, you have to know. You have to know. And trust me, it's taken a lot to get us here to the point where we are safe. So take a deep breath. Look around you and see nothing can harm you here. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, no distortion, no parasitic beings. I will fear none of it. Why? Because I walk with the Lord with me. So, I want you to hear all of that to know safety. You are safe. You are protected. Protected beyond what your mind even could fathom. You're protected. It's a struggle though. It's a struggle to feel safe with what we've been through and what is going on. But you can do it. In fact, it's not a choice. It's an essential thing that you learn. You learn to feel safe in your reality. And I know it's hard. That's why I'm creating something to help us. Now, I'm just gonna move on to the actual side, which is beyond your. So once you know that you are creating this reality with the great spirit of God, and that knowledge of that gives you safety, there's something more that you need, which is you need to actually move the trauma from the torture we've been through out of your physical vessel and your body. um Anything that focuses your attention a lot is really good, literally exercise, exercise and martial arts and yoga and any shit that focuses your attention. And because part of actually feeling safe is we are gonna have to learn to really focus our attention as much as possible, because otherwise there is so much that we are healing from and recovering from that it can feel overwhelming if you don't learn to focus your attention. So I would say creative work is an excellent way. Creative work is the number one. And another number one is if I could give you five, right, I would say probably physical movement and exercise. But you might not be in a place where you can actually move, because I know not everybody has a working physical vessel here, right? So if you cannot be exercising and stretching and doing different things, moving your body, moving that trauma and moving that fear out of your body, if you can't be doing that, right, breathing, I have to say, if you can breathing, focusing on your breathing and breathing slowly and deeply, that's another way to do it. But then I would say creative work as well is excellent, eh? If you can do any creative work, that's very good, because you're telling your spirit, right, this is my place. If I'm able to do creative work here, right, that's putting you in direct contact with the spirit, right? Because all creative work comes from the spirit, right? Anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, creative work, moving the body, and not for any other reason than to actually release anything within your body, like any trauma or fear that's left over. um and then I have to say, after all that, I'll probably say creating a sacred space in your home, in your environment, is really important. Your home and your environment being a sacred space where you 100,000,000,000% know you're safe. And then after that, I would honestly say prayer, but not in the sense prayer to beg, because I know the word pray actually comes from a word that originally meant to beg. So I'm not talking about that type of prayer. I'm talking about prayer as in with taking your whole being, right, and praying with God for our safety. Honestly, because sometimes you're just not going to feel 100%. And that's okay. And you know why you're not going to feel 100%? Because we've been through hell. Because this world at one point was hell. And that is why praying to God, not praying as in begging, but praying as in humbling every fiber of your being, and giving so much gratitude just for this moment, just for the fact that we have basic safety, and giving that prayer and praying that the spirit of God comes in and fills everybody. Praying that the Spirit of God comes in, fills everybody, covers everybody in a shield of impenetrable protection, and all of that, right? And shows everybody that we are in control here. And the Spirit of God comes in and eliminates that fear and heals that trauma, right? That is the other thing to do. And I promise you, with all the things I've just shared, we will find safety even in the testing situation that we are in. Okay? The other thing is understanding what I've told you once before, which is that fear is the memory of pain, creating a projection of pain from the past onto the future, and creating an anticipation and a dread of that pain that was in the past repeating itself again. And once you realize that fear is the memory of pain, what you can do is you can eliminate with your mind, you can consciously eliminate the projection of that past pain that we've already been through onto the future, knowing now that that shit's never going to repeat itself, because now we're awake, now we're aware, and now you can eliminate the projection and you can just see it for what it is, which is the memory of something tragic, a tragedy that has already gone. All right, now that's all I got for you today. I really do hope this touches someone's soul and touches someone's heart. If you've been shocked at how much violence, trauma, nightmares and torture have really gone down in this motherfucker that we call Earth, right? If you've been feeling a little bit like, what the fuck is actually happening? How are people just continuing on? Well, I've just shared with you how we're continuing on and how we're moving into a brighter future, a future brighter than any of the shadows that we have been through. And remember, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Do you hear me? As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. I hope you heard that, boy. Okay. What does that mean? That means, what is the valley of the shadow of death? Well, the valley of the shadow of death is when you walk through somewhere that is dangerous, that is infested with insane, parasitic, demonic beings who, what do I mean by parasitic? I mean who wish to inflict harm on others, right? Who are infested with a kind of insanity here, right? It's the mystery of iniquity. Said is the history of iniquity. It's the misery of iniquity. And it all falls down. I'm telling you all, it all falls down. Right? So iniquity and insanity, because what evil really is insanity. It is parasitic, insane beings who are no longer in a normal state of consciousness. They are insane, right? So when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, where there is such terrifying darkness and such terrifying things, we will not fear. We will not even fear in the most insane, terrifying places. Why? We won't fear because the Lord is with us. And the Lord is the one who has the power to create this very reality we are in, family. Get it? The Lord is the one who is dreaming this world up with us. I remember what I said about being in a dream. When you're in a dream, when you become aware that you are dreaming this dream and it's happening in your own consciousness, right? You become lucid, you become in control. That is it. When you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, remember that you are dreaming this very place you are walking through. And you are protected. You are protected with more fierce love and light than you could possibly even believe.